This is why some movie characters might really exist. A scientist in Norway has recently been working on trying to bring different superheroes and villains to life. He started with Thanos, building a mold of him out of clay and shocking it with a new type of electricity to try to make him come alive. Allegedly, a few days ago the sculpture did come alive and began attacking the workers at the lab looking for the Infinity Gauntlet. Security was barely able to restrain him, and the scientists are now wondering if they made a terrible mistake. Do you think they should stop trying to bring movie characters to life? Or who do you think they should try to create next? This is why you should always be afraid of clowns. Ella was walking home on Halloween night when she saw a clown standing on the sidewalk staring at her. She tried crossing the street, but he followed her. Before she could figure out what to do, he smiled and began to laugh. She watched as he pulled a dozen red balloons out of thin air and held one out for her. The little girl screamed for help, running to an adult nearby and pointing at the clown. But he was gone. The only thing left on the street was a shiny red balloon that said, "I'll see you tonight, Ella." This is why you should always check your shoes for spiders. David was getting ready for school and was about to put his shoe on when he luckily caught a glimpse of something inside. He screamed and threw his shoe against the wall. Inside was a creature the size of a large mouse that was half spider and half human. Before he could run, the creature scurried over on the floor towards him and let out a screech. David shut the door and called for help, but when his parents came to check his room, it was gone. They told him he made the story up and he would still have to sleep in his room tonight. This is why if your dog ever barks at night, you should listen to it. Emma was about to fall asleep when her dog began to bark at something outside her window. She was tired and lived in a safe neighborhood, so she didn't pay attention and told the dog to be quiet. Minutes later, there was the sound of glass breaking and loud screams. Emma made it to the window just in time to see a tall humanoid creature without a face dragging the entire family next door into the woods behind the neighborhood. She later told police that the creature looked directly at her, and even though it didn't have a face, she swore that it somehow grinned at her. This is why you should never own a bunny. James finally convinced his parents to let him have a rabbit, picking a brown bunny out of the store and setting up a cage in his room. When the family's cat saw the bunny, it hissed and ran into the other room, making them laugh. They stopped laughing that night. When James and his family woke to a loud cry and found the bunny had broken free of its cage and was swallowing their cat whole. They later said it had somehow changed, now having 3 orange eyes and claws coming out from its mouth. This is why music really can kill you. Merry Melody is an urban legend about a young man and woman who heard strange far-off music during a camping trip in the desert. They were curious, so they went closer and met this, a creature 9 feet tall holding some type of ancient instrument and staring down at them. They tried to run, but the creature began playing an evil song and their heads exploded. The coroners later said that their eardrums exploded so violently that it was like a shotgun blast going off. Some people that live nearby say they hear a strange tune far away every full moon, but they never go closer. If you ever see this man in your dreams, do not speak to him. Ethan had finally drifted off to sleep when he began to have a horrifying nightmare. In the dream, he was still in his bed and saw a man standing in the corner of the room waving at him. Ethan screamed and woke up from the nightmare, but an hour or so later he fell asleep again and had the exact same dream. But this time, the man was 2 steps closer to his bed. Every night the same thing happens, and every night the man is a little closer. Ethan doesn't know what he wants, but he's terrified to think what might happen when the man finally reaches his bed. Have you ever seen him in your dreams? These are the 3 steps to find out the name of your guardian angel. Number 1, get a sheet of paper and write your full name on it. Number 2, underneath your name, write "Who watches over me?" And number 3, set the paper on your bed or table and go to sleep. During the night, a glowing name will appear on either the paper or on your bedroom wall, but it will only be there for a second before disappearing. Good luck. This is why you should never summon a demon. A few days ago, Daniel tried to summon a demon with his friends on Halloween night. They thought it didn't work until they saw a terrifying figure appear in front of them. Daniel barely escaped, but the demon took two of his friends, turning them into pumpkins and setting them in a great field of souls. Does anyone know how Daniel can stop the demon before it takes him next? Your washing machine is haunted, and one night a long arm reaches out of it and tries to pull you in. Do you A, unplug it, B, put a Bible inside and turn it on, C, ask your parents to fill the washer with holy water, or D, hire a priest to perform an exorcism? To find out what we did, go to my YouTube channel for the full story. If you see a ghost dog outside your door in 2021, let him in. 2 nights ago, a young woman was walking her dog Logan when she was attacked by an older man. He grabbed her, trying to force her into a van, but her dog Logan stopped him, wounding the man. But in the fight, the man managed to shoot the dog twice. The young woman was able to escape and get the police, but by the time she got back, Logan had passed away. The strange part is, the next night there were sightings across the country of a large ghost dog with glowing white eyes going door to door at midnight. Many think he just wants to say goodbye before he goes to heaven. What would you do if you found a coffin buried in your backyard? That's exactly what happened recently when a young man found a large coffin buried in his backyard while digging to put in a swimming pool. Inside the coffin was a black rock and a set of papers that looked over 100 years old. Written on the papers, it said, "Do not open the coffin or touch the stone. Bury the coffin again and never dig it up." The scariest part was, the coffin had bloody scratch marks, like someone was buried alive inside. But the coffin was empty. What would you do in that situation? This is why you should always own a dog. Jessica was going for a walk when she felt someone grab her arm and pull her into the trees. She looked up and saw a man who stood almost 7 feet tall, wearing a green mask. But the scariest part was that he had pure black eyes. He was reaching to pick her up when her German Shepherd Donald caught up to them and jumped onto the man's chest, biting him and allowing the girl to call for help. The police got there a few minutes later, only finding a shred of green clothing that the dog had torn while protecting her. This is why we all really have a guardian angel. Last November, a young girl named Amanda was asleep in her bed when she heard the window slowly open and a man climb through. She was too afraid to move, but as the man crept closer, something strange happened. A tall figure began to shine in the corner of her room. Suddenly, something bright flew out of the darkness, grabbed the man, and disappeared back into the corner of her room. Hearing crying, her parents ran across the house and opened her door, but when they got there, both the angel and the man were gone. Angela swears to this day that there was a bad man in her room and that her guardian angel saved her. If you think your neighbor is a vampire, you might be right. Billy Atkins knew that his neighbor Miss Robbins was a vampire, but he needed proof. So one night he snuck into the woman's basement, hoping to get a picture of her coffin so that others would believe him. While he was searching for her coffin, he found something horrifying on the walls. Jars of children, neatly lined up on the basement shelves. Miss Robbins heard him scream in surprise, and before she could rush down the stairs and grab him, Billy escaped out the window. No one believed him about what he had seen, and it wouldn't be the last encounter he had with the terrifying creature. According to legend, which of the following is used to destroy a Wendigo? A. Fire. B. Silver. C. A pure heart. Or D. Powerful magic. To find out what I used, go to my YouTube channel for the full story. How many people go missing in the United States each year? A. 1 to 1,000. B. 10,000 to 100,000. Or C. Over 500,000. I finally found out what took my father when he went missing. Full story on my YouTube channel. These are the 3 real ways to date a demon. Number 3, never bring them to church or they'll explode. Number 2, if they ask for a glass of water, make sure it's not blessed by a priest or they will begin melting. And number 1, make sure you aren't in the same room with them when they get angry. Demons have very little control of their emotions, and horrifying things have happened to their loved ones when they lose their temper. Good luck. These are the 3 ways to kill a witch. Number 1, chop off their head with an axe. Number 2, poison them using lavender, nightshade, and garlic. Number 3, bury her underground in a coffin, and whatever you do, never dig her up. Good luck, and make sure to remember these 3 rules if you want to survive. These are the 3 real ways to survive if your room is possessed by a demon. Number 1, if you hear laughing coming from underneath your bed, never ever look under it. Number 2, if you wake up and see a little girl crying in the corner of your room, do not let her know you see her. And number 3, if you ever hear something walking on your ceiling, don't look up. If you follow these 3 rules, you should be fine. Good luck. These are the 3 real ways to survive a ghost. Number 1, never let them see your fear. The more afraid you are, the more powerful ghosts become. Number 2, never listen to scary stories right before going to bed. And number 3, never look into a dark closet and say, "Show yourself," 3 times. If you do these 3 things, you should be fine. Good luck. These are the top 3 ways to survive a mirror demon. Number 1, if you look into the mirror and your reflection smiles back at you, cover the mirror with a blanket immediately. Number 2, if you see a window or a mirror in the forest, don't look into it. And number 3, if your reflection begins to crawl out of a mirror, immediately close your eyes and scream, "This world is mine, go back to your world." If you follow these 3 rules, you should be able to survive a mirror or window demon. Good luck. These are 3 real ways to survive a serial killer. Number 1, always keep your doors locked at night. Number 2, never get into someone's van if they offer you candy. And number 3, if a serial killer is chasing you and a friend, always stay together. In horror movies, when people split up, they literally always die. If you follow these 3 rules, you should be fine. Good luck. These are the 3 real ways to survive a snowman. Number 1, if the snowman you've made becomes possessed by a demon, hang a wooden cross around its neck and it should explode instantly. Number 2, if the snowman multiplies and begins growing razor-sharp teeth, do not stick your hand in its mouth. And number 3, if you make a snowman and it turns evil, barricade your doors and windows until the sun comes up. Even a possessed snowman is destroyed by heat and sunlight. If you follow these 3 rules, you should be fine. Good luck building your snowman. These are the 3 real ways to survive a vampire. Number 3, always eat garlic so you won't taste good to them. Number 2, if you hear something scratching on your window at midnight, don't look outside. Vampires can hypnotize you and make you let them in. And number 1, if you fall in love with a vampire and they ask you if you want to be one, say no. You might live a little longer, but you'll lose your soul. Good luck and let me know if this helps you survive a vampire. These are the 3 real ways to survive a Wendigo. Number 1, if you hear a scream outside at exactly midnight, do not go into the forest. Number 2, if you are walking alone at night, make sure you don't accidentally cut yourself. Wendigos can smell even the smallest amount of blood and it will draw them to you. And number 3, if you are trapped by a Wendigo, the only way to kill it is by burning it alive. Good luck. These are the 3 real ways to survive a zombie. Number 1, don't let them bite you, obviously. Number 2, never let yourself get cornered in an alley or small space. And number 3, if a zombie outbreak happens and your girlfriend or boyfriend has been bitten, do not kiss them. If you follow these 3 rules, you should be fine. Good luck. These are the top 3 ways to survive an alien abduction. Number 1, if you see a bright light in the sky, don't run towards it. Number 2, if a green alien knocks on your window, do not open it. And number 3, if you do get abducted, make sure you have some type of cheese in your pocket. Aliens hate the smell of cheese and will kick you off their ship immediately. If you do these 3 things, aliens should leave you alone. For more alien stories, check out my YouTube channel. Good luck. These are the 3 real ways to survive Jeff the Killer. Number 1, if you see a young man holding a knife at the edge of the forest, don't go say hello. Number 2, never make waffles after midnight. And number 3, never ever go looking for him on a full moon. If you follow these 3 rules, you should be fine. Good luck. These are the top 3 ways to survive Krampus. Number 1, make sure your chimney is closed or locked on Christmas Eve. Number 2, never be mean to your family the week of Christmas or Krampus will have his revenge. And number 3, never write to Santa Claus and wish for something evil or Krampus will take you with him and you'll be his slave forever. If you do all these things, you should be fine this Christmas. Good luck. These are the top 3 ways to survive Mr. Bones. Number 1, if you find a small skeleton in your room that seems a little too real, do not throw him away. Number 2, if Mr. Bones says, "Happy Halloween," give him candy, no matter what time of year it is. And number 3, if Mr. Bones ever says he wants to play a game, pretend you are asleep. If you lose one of his games, he gets to possess your body every Halloween. If you follow these 3 rules, you should be fine. Good luck. These are the 3 real ways to survive red door, yellow door. Number 1, if you're playing this game with friends and you encounter a man in a suit who makes you feel uneasy, end the game immediately. Number 2, if you encounter spirits or demons as you open the doors, do not speak with them. They may be evil and trying to trick you. And number 3, if you find yourself in a room full of clocks, leave immediately. You could be trapped in that room forever. If you follow these 3 rules, you should be fine. Good luck. These are the 3 real ways to survive Smile Cat. Number 3, if you see a cat outside your door and it smiles at you, do not open your door. Number 2, if you see the face of a cat on the moon, look away immediately. And number 1, if your parents bring home a cat that never blinks and is constantly smiling, do not let it sleep in your room at night. If you follow these 3 rules, you should be fine. Good luck. These are the top 3 ways to survive Smile Dog. Number 1, never look at his real picture. Number 2, never say Smile Dog 3 times after midnight. And number 3, never share his video with 3 friends. He won't haunt you anymore, but he will haunt them for the rest of their lives. Good luck. These are the 3 real ways to survive Sonic X. Number 1, if you receive a CD in the mail that reads Sonic X, do not play it. Number 2, never ever play Sonic the Hedgehog at exactly midnight. And number 3, if you ever dream about Sonic, it is very important that right when you wake up, you draw his picture on a sheet of paper and put it under your mattress. Do not look at it until the next day. If you follow these 3 rules, you should be fine. Good luck. These are the 3 real ways to survive the elevator game. Number 1, never go in an elevator alone at midnight. Something horrifying might appear behind you. Number 2, never have a friend press the outside elevator button while you're alone inside an elevator. And number 3, never look into an elevator mirror and say, "I want to see you" 3 times, or the elevator demon will appear behind you. If you follow these 3 rules, you should be fine. Good luck. What is the best weapon to use against a demon? A. Salt. B. A silver cross. C. Not being afraid of them. Or D. A German Shepherd puppy. To learn about the 5 types of demons, go to my YouTube channel for the full video. This is why if you're ever alone and hear whistling, you should run. Eric was driving home at night from his grandmother's when he got tired and pulled over on a road in the middle of a dark forest. He suddenly heard the sound of whistling from the trees to his right, and he froze. He heard the noise again, but this time it was closer, and he saw this. He couldn't make out the creature entirely, but it was horrifying looking, and it ran towards him, almost grabbing him before he drove away. The strangest part is, he never really escaped from it. He still hears it whistling every night, but this time it's not coming from the forest. It's coming from underneath his bed. If you're alone outside and this whispers your name, run. Sam was alone in the park when he saw this step out of the woods and whisper his name. He made one mistake then. He didn't run. Instead, he began to talk to the creature, and he learned that it had been killing visitors to the park and eating them at night. It grabbed Sam and told him that he had to help it murder innocent people or it would kill and eat him instead. Sam had a hard decision to make then. Should he help the creature kill others and survive, or be eaten slowly himself? What would you do if your wife was a demon? That's exactly what happened recently when a young man noticed his new wife had a birthmark that said 666 on the back of her neck. She said she didn't want to talk about it, but now the husband's wondering if the woman might be possessed, a demon, or even the devil. What would you do in that situation? Is the devil real? A. Yes. Or B. No. To find out the truth, go to my YouTube channel. You're about to fall asleep. When you hear something under your bed call your name, it's telling you to look under your bed. Do you A. Look under your bed? B. Tell your parents and have them look for you? C. Buy a new bed? Or D. Ask the creature what it wants? This is why music really can kill you. Merry Melody is an urban legend about a young man and woman who heard strange far-off music during a camping trip in the desert. They were curious, so they went closer and met this. A creature 9 feet tall holding some type of ancient instrument and staring down at them. They tried to run, but the creature began playing an evil song and their heads exploded. The coroners later said that their eardrums exploded so violently that it was like a shotgun blast going off. Some people that live nearby say they hear a strange tune far away every full moon, but they never go closer. This is why monsters come out at night. Ellen was going for a walk after midnight on a full moon when she looked up and saw a red figure flying directly above her. Its wings were incredibly loud, and she screamed as the creature flew towards her and landed nearby. She was so terrified that she threw her pack of Skittles at it, and surprisingly, it started eating them. The truth was, it was only hungry. Ellen has gone for walks at night ever since, and every full moon she'll bring a bag of Skittles and share some with a monster.
If a clown knocks on your door on New Year's Eve tonight, don't open it. Last New Year's Eve, there was a report of a clown going door to door late at night, looking for someone to celebrate the New Year with. Each time someone would open their door and say no, he would grab them, put them in a special balloon he had made, and they would float up into the clouds, never to be seen again. Last year, a whole town went missing because they were cruel to the clown, the only survivor being a young girl who opened the door and gave him a hug. He smiled at her kindness, patted her on the head, and went back down into the sewer drain where he lives alone, waiting until next New Year's Eve to try and make a friend.
If this creature knocks on your door on Halloween, make sure you give it candy. 2 years ago, all the inhabitants of a small town went missing except for a young girl named Tara. When police asked her where everyone went, she told them that there was some type of monster with large horns that went door to door asking for candy, but that her town had stopped giving out candy on Halloween. She watched as each time a family didn't fill up the creature's pillowcase with candy, it dragged them into the river behind the town. Tara later said that she was the only one who survived because she had a small Snickers bar her teacher had given her, and she offered it to the creature, who nodded, patted her on the head, and went back to the river without her. This is why you should always check inside your closet at night. Mary had just gotten home when she turned off her bedroom light and laid down in bed. She was woken up a few moments later when she heard something sliding on her bedroom floor. She nearly screamed as she saw something terrifying hobbling out of her closet. She said it was reaching for her as she ran by it, and that it looked like a skeleton. No one believed her, and some nights she still sees the creature smiling at her from her closet.